So today I'm bringing you the big guns of Nust. I guess you're probably wondering, Wuti, okay, who picked up the call today? So it's none other than the former SRC president, Tapfuma Nganiwa. Welcome to Fuma Unjani Nuzana.
Mina ngirayithi ngiyaphila kunjani?
Ngiyaphila nami. First of all, before we get into the things, I want you to relax, just sit back, relax. This is not news. This is not serious politics. It's just a chill session, yeah? Alright, so I know that I don't know where to start, but let me just start at the end. I feel like people haven't gotten over the fact that you're no longer their president. So do you still get those formal, respectful, hi, Leader Tapfuma, how are you? Like people bowing and linjani shiwa and things like that. Do you still get those?
All right. It's something that happens. But being a president, I think it's something that got people to have that respect. But it's also because of how personally I handle myself around people. Because we've had people who have been presidents before in the SRC or have run for president, but then lost, the respect, after some time. So maybe it's just the way of how I try to handle myself around people that makes them maybe feel that way.
Okay, I captured something there. I'll remind you later. So in the sense, as much as we can look at it as silly, but we cannot avert like CC blush over the fact that you had impact on our students, not only politically, academically, emotionally, and spiritually. At what point in your reign did you understand Uguti? Now I think I have influence. At what point, or maybe even before you were president?
All right. Influence ngayibona ngesikhathi some elections. I saw it during the time that I was campaigning. The times I got into office, there's some people who would bring in congratulatory messages, and you'd be like, okay, so there's people actually knew about it. Big people. Some I can't even mention here, but it's something that shocked me as well. But I always appreciate. It's something that I just maybe would appreciate the fact that there are people who help me to be who I am, and all these people have made me to actually realize, there's some sort of influence here. Okay. Yeah, some sort.
and it's really big and like all over Nast, right?
As for Nast, Konapam was, I know.
But I think it is.
Oh.
We can never be sure. We can never. Let's just leave it at that. Sure. So, but apparently, this kind of humbleness is not far from your character. It wasn't a political strategy. It's who you are. Is that how you are? Your character. You're humble. You're down to earth. Paramisi.
All right. The thing is. There's no wisdom in claiming to be humble or in claiming to be wise. But I would say it's always great to try and humble yourself in everything you do. So that comes with character, not with position. Actually, if people get into power, they will actually lose their character sometimes. I've also lost some character.
Okay.
So I would say in terms of humility is just a requirement for every person who wants to be a leader.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So this humbleness thing is to an extent where someone, and I quote, they were like, Tapfuma, when you speak to Tapfuma, like for the person was speaking to you for the first time, right? And he was like, I was just like, hi, leader. And he made me feel like the only person in the room. I'm like, what? And how did you even come to say Ugutu is making you feel like the way he speaks to you, pays attention only to you at that moment? Your political strategy, is that who you really are or what?
Okay, question understood. Truth be told, I have managed to develop with time personally because of my goals or ambitions to be in leadership. You get to then understand how you are supposed to come off as a leader to people. So you learn. Maybe 10 years ago, I didn't used to be able to speak and be that person who can pay attention like that and pay attention to whatever the person is saying in terms of a conversation, eye contact and stuff. these are also some things that I learned over the time, and it's out of reading or watching. Even YouTube, you can watch how to be a leader, how to come off as a leader. So,
and we must say you mastered it very well. You mastered and you learned it very well. And okay, let me not put it at you, but apparently this technique of yours that you mastered works more on the ladies than on the guys. You know? I don't know, maybe if ladies we are easily persuaded, but you managed to actually draw the females. You managed to draw the females more than the guys.
Yes.
Hopefully
yes.
You weren't coming at approach yokuthi mwana umuntu uyamfuna but then uzama
yeah, I get what you're saying. As an individual, when it comes to maybe, let's say, someone I want as a girl, I go for it if I really want a lady. I don't use any other means. I don't maybe come off as someone who's trying to do something and then at the end of the day is trying to just lure the lady, or try to lure a girl but then come off as a politician at the end. No, it's not like that. With the ladies or even with the gentlemen, I remember there's a time I always tell my colleagues, people who want to run for SRC, who are coming after us, that when you are dealing with people, deal with them as an individual, because people are interested more in what matters to them, not what matters to you or to any other person. So when you're attending to people, attend to them on a personal level. And maybe it's just that maybe gentlemen are not, or men or guys, they are not as vocal, perhaps, or they wouldn't say, I know a leader really held me on 1, 2, 3 things. But there are times where we cancel each other with gentlemen. Yeah. Even on campus here, there are times where guys would come. I can have a guy in my room, we are discussing. So it's possible that, well, maybe guys might have not really mentioned how also I work with him.
I love how you're working your way around it, you know, trying your best. But it's okay. But the fact that I still there, I think you managed to persuade the ladies more than the gents. But 90%, okay, 80% of campus, I'm mostly. Not
like love,
and maybe like or follow you ish. Okay, something like that. But the guys, I don't think they are.
Alright, how many ladies like Ndiwa Wood? Modiwa, that celebrity. How many ladies like? Well, there's this trending guy, Prophet Angel. There are many. How many ladies like your prophets, your presidents, and whatsoever? Ladies like power. It's a no.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not new to me.
But okay, so it's true. You're not trying to say yes. You're not trying to say no. But then it's true. You're saying that the gents might not. The gents might not actually. But anyway, it's okay. So let me take you back a little bit during your reign, Ngale. Let me take you to Mutare. All right. Mutare, we went for a trip. And there were several ladies who actually complained to the then Vice President Karen to say, what had happened? Because several, not even one lady, several ladies were like, I think we were victims of the Tapfuma portion.
I see. Well, one thing I would like to try and specify here is I'm human before I'm anything, right? I'm your boy before I am your leader. I'm just a man before I am whatever I want to be.
Okay.
I'm Tapfuma before I am an accounting student, or I'm an accountant, or whatever else I do, right? So there is this part about me that can never be removed from me. That is perhaps the things I've done and the things I will do in the future as an individual, or on a one-to-one basis with certain people. And yes, I've had my times of, I'd say, in court pleasure or some youthful pleasure which was kind of misguided.
Okay.
Yes, I do really get the point that yes, there are some ladies who were really not happy with the way I dealt with them. I'm one person who wants to take responsibility for the things that's done, and I can't really speak for what they did as well on their side, because whenever ladies report some things, they don't mention
what they
were doing during the time, because it's not like I'm going out there just looking for girls to come here. There are others who say, I want to be with him, you see. And perhaps maybe that time I hadn't been caught by this spirit of what's his name, Joshua, is what, from the Bible, the guy who ran away, when he was being asked out by Potiphar.
Somebody.
So
No, he just.
but no, it's not.
All right.
So
you were a lady.
I'm in a serious relationship now. Back then I was a player. I understand.
You were a player.
Yeah, but that's not leader Tapfuma. That's Tapfuma. I was a player back then, but
what changed? What happened? Did you meet one? What happened?
It's growing up. When you make choices, I remember when I did those things, it was just of a very short space of time when I was having several girls, but it was out of a heartbreak. I had lost a girl that I really liked. I thought she was the love of my life. Then apparently we dated for like 3 years, almost 3 years, and then we broke up. It hurt me that time, so I decided to say, let me just kill
Galavant and go all over.
Yeah, I don't care anymore now.
It is the pain.
Yeah. But then later, it wasn't a solution. But then later on, I was like, oh no, I think I need to stop this, and I need to be stable. I'm growing up. I need to focus on the things that matter in life.
The ladies are going to be so hurt when they hear this. What is a healing process? But anyway,
my apologies. I apologize. Any inconveniences in the future.
Because the thing is part of the process. But I've given you an exclusive on why. But anyway, there's a rumor that I heard. In your campaigning, right? You took it. Okay, let me just put it as I heard it. That you took advantage of Stacey, to gain political power-ish, or I don't know. Your relationship with her was kind of more of on the political side than in a romantic setup.
I need a tissue. No, just kidding. But then the thing is, I've had so many times where they have to answer for that relationship.
Didn't start it, guys.
You didn't start anything. You're not implying anything. You're just asking what you've heard. I think many people have heard of that, but perhaps maybe this particular recording is going to help to clear up.
All right.
But then with the lady, she was someone that I saw to be someone with great potential, and she was someone I saw to be very, a bit intelligent. I would say she's intelligent generally, very much ambitious. So to me, that was like my thing, because I was like, I want to go for someone that, what they call them, is it sapiosexual or something like that, where someone is like going for the mind. So I was interested in that during the time. And I kind of like ignored a lot of other things that could have probably resulted in our breakup. After some couple of months. But apparently I dated her before even the election thing was into picture. And before she'd even decided to say I want to run for SRC. So it wasn't a political move or way.
Wasn't it laying a foundation towards?
No, there's no foundation in your relationship. There's no foundation you can lay for political expedience through relationships. No, there's nothing that it would really directly benefit. It wasn't of direct benefit to me when it comes to my political career or my goals in representing students. And I think, and I'm sure that whoever voted for me did not necessarily vote for me because I was dating Stacey.
Yeah. All right, you answered well. I answered well, I may say. But then, of course, in your reign, right, it wasn't a perfect journey.
True,
There were a
true,
lot of
true.
things a lot of hiccups that people actually picked up to say, Tapfuma didn't do this. Let me take you back to Miss Nast, where people were actually pointing you out to be tribalistic. Because at that time, a lot of, there was a blow up of Bulawayo artists not being recognized all over Zimbabwe, and they were thinking that they're not getting the platform that they're the platform to actually showcase their talent. They're not getting the spotlight that they need. So into and you did a show. And you didn't even involve Bulawayo artists or even Lost artists. And then people came for you and on Twitter, and then you replied back. So in your reply, people picked up that tribalistic thing. What do you have to say on that one?
All right. So I would like to correct you on one of the things that you were mentioning. It's not like there were not local artists in that particular show. If anyone would have cared to actually come to Miss Nas, you see, the problem is when something bad happens, a lot of people can be affected.
Yeah.
They can talk about it. But when something good happens, no one then gets to talk about it. Because even later on, we had a color run that we had. It was balanced when it comes to the artists who were coming through. But then as for Miss Nast, before I talk about the tribalism thing, there was the fact that we had brought in some people that some students had come up with, and when you're coming up with an artist, I'd like to have the general public to understand this, that in the Student Representative Council, when you're trying to come up with an artist, there are several factors to consider. You see, we pay fees in RTGS. Artists, they want upfront payment of US dollars, right? So it means that you're going to leave out certain people who say, I know myself, I can't perform for RTGS budget. All right. Then you're going to have people who will say, I'm not available. I have a show during the same time. You're going to have people who are going to say, well, from the audience side of things, we want this artist. Right. So you're going to try and pick whosoever you can pick, depending on your budget and depending on what the people they are saying we can afford and we want. All right. So we had Bazooka and Pumako coming through, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that we didn't have other artists, even local artists from Blower region. They were there as well on the show. Even Nast students were there. Then on the tribal issue, it was a mistake on my part. I shouldn't have responded that way. And I later, much later on, responded by an apology, but it wasn't via the same platform on Twitter. I knew the apology wasn't going to help because really the time had already passed. I tried to correct it during the actual show. The scandal happened before the show happened. But then during the show, we actually corrected things. So the tribal issue is not about who I am. It's about the mistake. I was under pressure. In organizing events, there's so much pressure. But so
exactly, the people who made you are the ones who were breaking your foot anyway. Coming for
well, I apologize. Even I take this opportunity to apologize as well. But I didn't really mean whatever I said that time.
It's about time. So, yes, in your reign, there were a lot of mistakes here and there. I don't know, Uti, how we people actually are when it comes to how we view our leaders. Sianifaga in those seats, and then moment you start doing things that we don't like, we're like, I regret and things like that. So this takes me back to when you went to Kenya. People were happy, yes, you went to Kenya, but other people were like, the allowance was too much. How did you manage to convince the admin and things like that? Let's just shortly explain on that one.
All right. Any university can be able to actually have any of their student leaders going for such things. All right. I'm not the first SRC president to travel on the budget of the university. All right. We've had this happening everywhere, right? even in the current SRC.
Yeah.
But apparently, the current SRC were campaigning during that time because it was around almost the end of my tenure.
Okay.
And we were having new people coming in. And you'll find out that some people were actually using that as a campaign strategy to say, well, your current SRC president is they're abusing our funds and things like that. So because they are abusing our funds, you should vote for us, you know. But it wasn't about abuse of funds. There was nothing to do with abuse of funds. It was literally to say, we have received a letter, we are being asked to represent, and we are asking for assistance from the institution. And the institution, just like that, and then the institution has got the budget. They try to find a way to cover for that. They want their SRC leader to represent the institution. Remember, it's marketing as well, because the people that we met there were deans of faculties, vice chancellors. When we were doing our business of duty of the day, we visited different universities: Mount Kenya University, Egerton University. We visited the University of Nairobi. So all these trips were literally an exchange program that we were doing. So from the perspective of someone who's probably just campaigning and they want relevance, they can use that to their advantage. Right. So you'll find that during those visits in those different universities where we were doing exchange programs and bringing back and reporting back to the institution, yes, you do have students who were complaining about that. Maybe it's because partly I would blame the issue that it was a campaign period. The people who were making most noise about it are people from ZNAS, people who were opposing myself, and it's just politics, nothing personal. I do understand that, and they were trying also to be relevant, because you will find out that the moment they got in power, they went to Victoria Falls on students' budget for their own orientation. This was not even an international exchange program for students, and to try and link different universities. Because we're linking NAST and Egerton, for example, or MKU or Nairobi. It's different from just going for fun or say a seminar in Vic Falls. So it's not new, guys.
All right.
My apologies, I was president that time, but please bear with me. It was
but at least you've actually cleared that one out. We are paying fees and
all right, how much are you paying? All right.
Let's not go there.
It's okay.
Let's not go there. All right. I think the last question that I have is, I actually is wondering, what happened? Why didn't you graduate? Why are you still here?
Yes. And you know, on that one, I have other people who think that I am serving the CIO. People don't understand what's going on. But I want an exam on Monday.
We are really confused.
But then, on that, well, I would want to bring the truth to the world. I hope this thing trends. But it has to trend. Because they have to know, they have to really clear off a certain thing when it comes to leadership. You see, our leadership is, as students, is not as empowered as people think it is. All right? You probably see me wearing a necktie today, maybe a nice fresh cut now, all right? But it doesn't mean that everything is okay. We're probably trying to cover up because we still have to be leaders. We still have to do our duties. In as much as we're facing difficulties, as much as we're facing opposition and whatsoever, but we still have to appear the way we have to appear. We have to gain the respect that we need. We have to be able to do the work that we need for the students, and we are advocating for whatever they want and they deserve. So you find out that during that time, literally, I was going through financial problems. I was a full-time student, remember? When you're not SRC president or SRC member, you're not on a payroll. Okay? It's not like the institution is going to pay for your fees and stuff. So my main funder were my parents, all right? But then things were going badly for them, and I wasn't working that time. My mom and my dad, they separated when I was 4 years old, and my father, who was like sort of like sponsoring my education from the first year, and so things were not really going well, right? Back home and their business and so forth. So because of that, I failed to have fees paid. Yes, I failed to have fees paid. I'll repeat that. So because that was happening, I had to defer. I had to decide to take off one semester in terms of education and try to focus on hustle and on work. And now I'm working. Proudly I can say that. Now I'm working, now I have things that I can do, things that can bring me constant income. But back then they weren't there. Right? Had I been able to plan ahead, knowing that my main sponsorship is not going to come, right? If I had managed, come through to the end, perhaps I could have found this grind earlier, right? And I could have managed to finish off last year. Yeah, of course. You know what? I should have graduated by 2021 or 2022 because in 2017 I was in North Cyprus, but I didn't finish off in North Cyprus. I had to drop out. I was in North Cyprus when Holy 10 was in North Cyprus. I dropped out before Holy 10 dropped out when we were at Cyprus International University. That's where we were, right? And I didn't even, Holy 10 I was at Topis at that time. I didn't even know what this guy was going to make. Maybe if I had known of the future, I could have prophesied. I could have made sure that this guy is a friend and very close. But anyway, it's just life. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, I didn't finish up from 2017 because I finished my A level in 2016, right? So joined university 2017, dropped off like it was March to November when there was that I don't want to call it but I'll call it a change of government. When the change of government was happening, that's when I returned to the country. And when I returned to the country, I then applied for NAST in the following year in 2018 and started off, right? So it was already too late. It was already behind. But what are we chasing against? Because if I had come to NAST in 2017, I probably wouldn't have been NAST president in 2019.
It was all in the destiny.
So it's sometimes things is about destiny. I've met certain people that I've met today because I am here today. So the delay, yes, the deferring was happening, right? But I have benefited from staying a little longer
at NAST.
And I appreciate the university a lot. And I appreciate Blawayo. I appreciate the region because this is where I can be able to do whatever I want to do compared to every other place. Where I come from in Manikal, people don't know me as much as they know me.
Yeah, that's true.
So I appreciate it. It's all God.
There is a saying that says, imagine all this time you focused on elections, you stopped reading. Now you carried it.
I know, I didn't get it forward.
There were so many rumors president, and he forgot the main goal while he came to NAST.
It was finance, guys. It happens. People think that when you're president, you are a god. You're not a god.
You have the
When you're working for NAS students, people think that you are so much motivated. They see the motivation in us. It's passion. It's passion. To my ghetto youth, and we have a passion to want to achieve more. It's not about that we have someone who's promised us millions of dollars or there's someone who's paying us or something like that. People don't understand those things. People think maybe because you are as a course who aligned to the ruling party or something, and then you've got some sort of finance that is coming. No, it's passion. We are seeing the next 15 years, 30 years, 50 years, 60 years, maybe for our life. You see? So we're looking at that futuristic date to say, if I do this, I'm building a legacy. Yes, that's what we're trying.
This is why we voted for you. But anyway, that is why we call this an exclusive. Thank God that you found out exactly what is happening with Tapfuma, why he is still here. Because I remember when he came to this, we were like, Come on, enjoy. But well, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for chilling with us. Thank you for ironing out the creases that we had about you. I hope wherever you are, you have a brighter Tapfuma. You know more about Tapfuma. You're no longer, listening to rumors. But that's what I'm here for, to clear them out, to give you more information.
Your term of office, it was after Tapfuma, who's from Zikosu.
Yeah.
Right. So Tapfuma obviously had his own policy. Did you pay any attention to those policies so that you keep them alive, or you just discarded them because you are a